Good afternoon, everyone. Angelo here. It's Friday, December 28th. I can't believe Christmas went by so fast, and we're almost in 2019 already. Crazy time's flying. Today I'm going to show you how to have fun with typography, creating a poster in Adobe Illustrator. People are intimidated by typography. I love it. I'm a type nerd, so even when I'm out driving, I look at different typefaces on signs. I try to guess what type of font it is. I'm getting better. I mean, the classic ones I know, but it's hard to tell some of the serifs and sans serif fonts, especially because they're creating so many nowadays. So let's get into it. I'm just going to go into Illustrator, and I'm going to go to File, New. I have a document here that's set up at 1296 pixels by 1728 pixels, and if you convert that to inches, it's 18 by 24, so that's the standard size of a poster, like a regular size of a poster. So let's go ahead and just hit OK. You can set up a bleed on this if you're going to use a color. I'm not setting up bleeds because I'm not sending this to a printer or anything like that, so I just kind of want to show you some cool tricks and techniques that you can use in typography. You know, type doesn't always have to be flush left, ragged right, you know, headline, traditional way. In print purposes, yes. If you're designing a newspaper or magazine, yes, but you can be creative with your typography when you're using it in posters, advertisements, pretty much anything that you want to, you know, web ads as well, web campaign ads, whatever. So I have my document set up here. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to go to my layers palette here, and where it says layer 1, I'm going to call that BG for background. That's pretty standard for me. I'm going to go to my rectangle frame tool, and I'm going to create just a background on here, and I'm going to give it a color. I'm going to go with red. Sorry, I'm just going to move that a bit. Let's go to color. It's on the stroke now, so we don't want it. So let's go to swatches. For stroke, we want none. And let's go with a red. Let's go with a red for now. But I want to change that specifically. I want it a little bit darker. Yeah, a little bit here. Yeah, something like that. I'm just going to add this to my swatches, just in case I need it later on. Probably don't, because it's just my background. Hit OK. I go to swatches. There it is right there. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my layers. I'm going to lock this layer, because right now I can move this, and I don't want it to move. So I'm just going to lock it, and I'm going to create another layer, and this one will be called type. Now, when you're doing a typography poster, a good way to start practicing is pick a certain typeface. So in this case, I'm going to use Futura. Futura is one of my favorite typefaces, one of my favorite sans serifs. It's classic. It goes with anything really. Its different weights are very strong. So I'm going to use a heavy. I'm going to use an extra black when I'm designing this today. So let's go ahead. I'm going to click on my type tool, and I'm just going to click anywhere on the artboard, and I'm going to type in Futura. Go back to my selection tool. Now I can scale it up. So hold Shift Option to scale it without. You can also just go Shift. Okay. I'm going to go up to my typeface selection. I'm going to type in Futura. I want it extra black. Before we go any further, I want to make this white. Okay, I want to make Futura white or an off-white. So I go to my libraries here. Go to Angelo's library. I have a lot of colors and things like that. So I have a cool kind of off-white that I like there. I'm going to go into this and just turn that out a bit, because that's good there. Okay. Okay, so I have my word Futura. Now the cool thing about what you can do in Adobe Illustrator as opposed to InDesign, you could definitely do this in InDesign. There's more options for cutting text in Illustrator, playing around, scaling things up. I just like doing this process in Illustrator now, just because you have some more flexibility, and you still have your guides with rulers on and things of that nature. So here's a cool thing you can do with typography. You know, a headline doesn't always have to be centered. Like I don't have to align it to the artboard centrally there. I mean, it looks okay, but we're going to really play this up. I'm going to scale this up just a little bit more. Sorry, my machine is lagging. I'm trying out a new screen recording software. Slowing down my machine a little bit, but it's working so far. So let's, I'm going to cut this off right about here, maybe right there. Okay. Now in InDesign, if I hit W or hide my guides, this URA would hide, right? In Illustrator, there's a different way of removing that. So before I go any further, I'm going to change my type right now to outline mode or create outlines. You can do that by going to type and then create outlines, or just simply shift command or shift control O. So I want my word to cut off right here, right where I have the U. And I'm just going to click on it and make another version here. And I'm going to cut it right there. A little bit more, about the midway point. So if I were to draw two boxes here, you can see how it would look like, right? Future, the U continues, and then Futura. I'm going to show you a cool technique of how to cut that out, right? Like I said, in InDesign, you could just hit W or hide your guides, and the URA would hide. In Illustrator, I've already created a box here, so I'm just going to make this right edge to the page, and then make sure that this is past the F. I'm going to collect it all. I'm going to right click, make clipping mask. That gets rid of that. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. Only this time I'm going to create the box. Like so. Collect it, right click, make clipping mask, or select it, Command 7. Command 7 is a shortcut to get rid of it or mask it at a clipping mask. So here's a cool thing now. I have Futura, it's bleeding off the page and continuing on the other side. It doesn't necessarily have to bleed off the page on both ends. So here's a cool thing too. If I move this over, Futura, and it almost looks like there's a fold or a cut here, and it's coming, peeking through. So I'll leave it like that for now. Maybe I'll even bring this over. That's pretty cool. So I'm actually going to just click one, hold shift, and I'm just going to scale them up just a little bit. So I want to add some history about Futura, okay? I'm going to move them down a bit. Okay, move them down. I just want to add a little bit of history on Futura because, well, the poster is about Futura typeface. So I just collected a little bit of info here, put together just a couple paragraphs. I'm going to collect that. Put that here. I'm going to go to my type tool, and instead of just clicking once, if I paste it, it's just going to be one big block of long text. So in this case, I'm actually going to draw a text box and then paste it. Now I have more flexibility on my type. Now this is set to extra black. I want it Futura heavy, so Futura heavy BT. I've got many Futura options here, so that's good there. I don't want it to be black, so let's make it that same white. For the most part, this is gonna be a white and white and red poster. Let's do, maybe break it up in paragraphs is fine. And maybe a bit more. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I maybe bring it just a bit more. Good cut on it. Yeah, okay, align them up. This is exactly what I want. Now, I always like having my text, my typefaces anchored to different things on your poster, or whatever layout you're doing. So don't make things arbitrary, just don't put things where you think they should go. Try to match them up to something or align them to something, just to add some added, cleaner look to it. So because I have my cutoff view here, I'm going to turn my rulers on. And I'm going to grab a rule and bring it over here and lock it to that. Okay, locked pretty good there. And then I'm gonna, it seems like the leading is a little, I'm gonna tighten up that leading there. That's better. I'm gonna take this and maybe move it down here. Okay, something like that. So you get a really nice clean look, Futura, and then history about it. Maybe just grab a rectangle tool and draw a little white box here. And you're probably asking, what does that do, right? Just a little white box, but you know what? It just kind of reinforces. It reinforces that edge, that line, and you could even actually rotate it. Cooperating with me, something like that. I think I like it more like that, okay? It just reinforces that edge. Now, Futura was established or released in 1927, so we could make note of that somewhere. We should make note of it. So again, I'm just going to click here. Make sure you're working in your type layer. Click here, 1927. And I'm going to scale that up a bit, and I'm going to make this Futura. I'm going to make this also extra black, and also make it that white, that off-white that I created. I think that's a good size. You don't want to start making things too big or too small, right? Because it's all about hierarchy. So Futura obviously should be the biggest element on your page. People might think that that's too small. It's still 12 points, so maybe make it a little bit bigger. Maybe 14. That's fine. That reads a little bit better. Yes. I like that cut too. Okay, so back to 1927. Also going to make that outline, create outlines. Now, where could we put this? Maybe here? I mean, that would be a good spot, right? Just to keep lining, but you don't want to keep lining things up on one side. So you could do it on this side somewhere, maybe anchor it to that A, so you could bring this down like so. And then maybe plot this over here. How's that look? Not too bad. I'm just going to create another copy of it. Let's try it up here. Beautifully anchored it to this F on a angle. What if we did something like that? I like, I do, I really do. So if I take my guides off to do that, view, guides, hide guides, or you can go to command semicolon. That will remove or show guides, okay? So I actually like where that 1927 ends, okay? You know, you could add more elements to this, type elements. So, I mean, let's just say you had another piece of text that you wanted to display, okay? That could maybe go up here. So this is starting to come together, right? In terms of the type. Again, I think the elements I have there might be just enough. You don't want to start cluttering your posters, typography posters. What I might do now is I'll go to layers, create another layer, and you could play around with different kinds of shapes coming off the sides would be cool, up to you. So I'll call this layer is graphics, hit OK. And let's grab the pen tool for now, and just click up here, click up here, click up here, click up here. I like it. I'm starting to like this. So okay, so that's a cool element right there. I'm going to maybe Control C, Control F, just paste in front, and then let's reflect that. Let's see if that works. Reflect. Yeah, let's try that. How's that look? I'll do something like this. But what I want to do now, see the point of this? I'm going to anchor this text to that. So let's try that. See how that looks. I'm going to grab another rule, another guide. I'm going to snap it to the best as I can. And again, guys, zoom in when you're doing this. My guides are locked, so if they're locked, go up to View, Guides, Lock Guides. See it's checked on. We want that off. And then do that. Get my text here. And let's anchor it to the bottom of the A. How does that look? So obviously this is something that I would go in and keep tailoring, right? I'm not even sure I like this right now. To do something like that maybe. Okay, so here's a good example, right? So remember how we cut off the Futura? If you were to export this file as a JPEG PDF, export it as an artboard, this wouldn't show. But as you're designing, some designers would find that annoying, seeing things hanging off a page. So this is how you do that. Remember how I created a box? This time I'm going to do it for the entire page. If anything's hanging off the edge of the page, create a box to fill that entire frame. Grab your selection tool, highlight the whole thing, and Command 7. Or right click and then clicking this. Okay? So I'm going to stop it there and maybe touch this up. I might even share this on Facebook once I'm done. But I want you guys to try it out. You know, pick a tough typeface that you like. It could be Helvetica, Avenir, what else? Gotham. Gotham's a good one. Butler. I'm really into Butler right now for like serif fonts. Very classic look. Pick something you like and try it out. And even if you do it in InDesign, that's okay. Try deleting things off the page like that, or cutting things off, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be straight aligned or, you know, horizontally aligned. You can rotate text, much like I did up here with the 1927. I'm going to play around with this, and I'll share the final outcome. Might not be today, but I'll get to it. All right, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoy the rest of your holidays, and Happy New Year, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.